Then we have Girlie Show. This is actually the year before Nighthawk. Now, the eroticism of Girlie Show, a painting of a burlesque stripper with conical breasts and bright red nipples, who teases her audience by waving this blue garment she's already removed, is both obvious and intentional. But it's a little different. So when we look at the preparatory sketches that Hopper used to create this piece, we see him transforming his wife's petite form and aging features to that of a tall, sultry redhead in the work. And he's kind of altering the form, playing with the form. Exactly what we would expect given the situation. Again, his wife is his only model, and she is not of an age that you would normally see her working as a burlesque dancer. So as we look more closely at the form, we see this burlesque dancer who seems to still have the body for it, but maybe not. Maybe we're supposed to see something different. So Hopper, who must have identified with the male figures in the audience, is showing this figure as desirable, but yet untouchable, to be observed safely from a distance. But as we look at the figure, while the body looks the part, the face does not, and the face seems to give away the age that we're dealing with. We get the sense of someone who either doesn't want to be there but has to be because this is the only work that she knows, or has passed her time and is simply there because she has to be. And we get that idea in part from the people down below. Now, for example, our musician here is not paying any attention to her whatsoever. And these forms don't seem to be paying that close of attention either. It's as if the dancing is secondary to what else is going on. Now, if she were the sultry woman, the woman that everyone wants to see, you would expect everyone's head to be turned, even the musicians. After all, there's nothing about drumming, for example, that requires one to look directly at what you're doing if you're experienced. So instead, we get this sense that she's there, but she's almost a commodity here. And a commodity that's overly made up, a commodity that has become artificial, that can't actually be had. Because even if one could, make this woman theirs, even if you did that, would you actually have the woman that's on stage? Because look at the makeup and the mask and the act. Instead, you would have someone else. It would be like falling in love with Marilyn Monroe and then never realizing that she's eventually going to take her makeup off and be Norma Jean Baker. Well, it's the same thing here. We get this sort of false pretense. You could also see it as sort of this piece focusing on aging, focusing on, when you get into an activity and you're looking at it, you're so focused on it that you miss the fact that you've passed your prime in that activity and that it's time to move on. So a lot of possibilities here. This could be a purely erotic piece. But the makeup and the form seems to give us this idea of this slightly older woman, a woman that you wouldn't expect necessarily at the Girlie Show.